Hi, it's David Worrell, your DIY CFO. Hey, today I've got something really special for you. Lots of you have been asking me, what's the market for selling my business? If I'm in a bad way, maybe you're in a good way, but you've been planning on selling your business and you're wondering whether the COVID pandemic has really changed the market for selling a business. I was wondering the same thing. So I reached out to my friend Adam Petricoff, who is a business broker for small businesses with VR Business Brokers in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I put the question to him. So take a listen to this interview with Adam Petricoff. I think you're going to really appreciate what he has to say about the market for small businesses and how small businesses should be positioning themselves right now to get the most out of a potential sale. Quite interesting stuff. Thanks so much.
Welcome, Adam Petricoff. Thanks for coming to the DIY CFO show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you bet. So, Adam, you and I have known each other for, I don't know, 5 or 10 years maybe. And during that whole time that I've known you, you've been a business broker selling and helping small business owners sell their company. Can you tell me just a few sentences about that?
Sure. We work with business owners when the time is right or when they're approaching retirement or having a health issue to help them maximize the value for their business and sell it.
Excellent. And you're with VR Brokers now.
Yeah, VR Business Brokers here in Charlotte.
And that's a nationwide chain, by the way, right?
Yeah, it's franchised in about 40, 45 markets throughout North America.
Your email says it's the largest business broker, or you've sold more businesses than anyone else.
That's correct. We just celebrated our 40th anniversary. So we've been doing this a while and have seen just about everything when it comes to transactions.
Yeah, wow. Well, congratulations on 40 years. That's quite a landmark, quite a milestone. So, as you know, we're going to keep this really close and tight so that our guests can watch this and get some actionable advice in a short period of time. So we have 3 questions for you this morning. I'll just start with the first one is, this is a finance show. Our guests are interested in what's going on in their business from a financial perspective and trying to learn new things. What's the one lesson you've learned in your career about finance that really sticks out to you that you'd like to share with people?
I think people underestimate how quickly their cash gets depleted. I see it a lot when people buy a business. They immediately go out and start spending, assuming that sales will just happen like that. It always takes longer, and people need to preserve their cash and have a plan instead of just working on a hunch and going out and trying to do something. I think people need to be more thoughtful. It's a precious commodity and it needs to be treated like that. Whether you're in a startup, whether you're buying a business, or whether you're in an existing business that's been around for many years, cash remains king.
Yeah, good advice. So, thinking about myself, I've often poked through your business listings and just had little daydreams about owning a restaurant or buying a cleaning company or an accounting firm, and we've looked at absorbing other accounting firms. And so I always see the price, and the price says, this is $1 million business, and I think, well, I could probably come up with $100,000 down payment and leverage the rest, and I could buy this $1 million business. But I never really think about what it costs after you buy the business, how much more you need to spend to get a new office or to hire some new people, or what's that transition been looking like for it, in general in your career?
It's very inconsistent, to be honest with you. Some people come in, they have working capital provided by a bank, or they have additional resources set aside, but they just assume that all these great ideas that they have are going to work right away.
Yeah.
And what I always tell all of our buyers is to sit down with the seller and really ask them, hey, I got this idea here. Have you thought of this? And most of them, the answer is yes, but they didn't do it for a specific reason.
Yeah.
And the buyer never asked that question. They just assume that the seller never pursued growth in this market or with this customer. And 99% of the time they actually have, but and maybe the prior owner didn't have the capital the new owner has, so maybe they could do that. But leverage the experience of that seller. Because there's usually reasons why they didn't pursue a particular type of growth or customer.
Yeah. Wow. Really interesting. So, what I think I know about banking and buying a business is the lender is looking for a debt service coverage ratio, meaning that the business is spinning off enough cash to pay the loan that you used to buy the business, and have a little bit of breathing room on top of that. The number that we most often hear, I guess, is 1.25, right? So you've got
Yep.
125% of the money you need to pay your bank loan off to buy the business. Do you think that's enough to continue the operations of most companies after you buy them?
I mean, it depends. Some banks are up to 1.35. I'm guessing it might be moving up a little here and there, but I think it can work if you have a plan.
Yeah.
I've seen people go in and just all of a sudden start buying new equipment and new trucks that really didn't need it. And 6 months in, they've got cash problems.
Right.
So it can work. Remember, banks are pretty conservative, and that's a pretty tried and true number. So it should work. The variable in the equation is the new owner and their spending habits.
Right. Yeah, very good. Well, I know that that's true of any venture you're getting into. It always costs twice as much and takes twice as long. This
At
whole
least.
DIY, yeah, at least this whole DIY thing for me is brand new, and just in the first 6 weeks we've been doing it now, I've already run across 1,000 opportunities to spend $1,000, and if I'd done them all, I'd be broke and bankrupt already. So. Yeah, I can certainly appreciate that. And of course, cash strategy is even more important now. And we're in the middle of COVID. Today is, what is today? May 15, 16. And lots of people are running short of cash because their sales came to a screeching halt a few weeks ago. What have you seen as a pivot strategy, a better way of getting through this kind of crisis, or any crisis really, for small businesses? What have you done to pivot your business?
Well, I'll answer that two ways. First of all, I see so many people getting into the mask and any type of cleaning solution to help people feel more comfortable. And so a month ago, it seemed like a good idea. Today, it seems like a very crowded space and overwhelming.
You mean selling masks and selling products?
Selling things just to help people.
Yeah.
I probably get 15 to 20 emails last week on masks.
Yeah, wow.
So
for a while you couldn't buy them at all.
Couldn't buy one. Now you can't get one, or now you can get one everywhere. So we've pivoted a little bit in the fact that and this is an example. We historically did a lot of business brokerage and M&A deals, and really didn't pursue businesses that were either struggling or having trouble cash flowing. And we've come up with a new program called VR Express, which is specifically designed to help those businesses that are struggling right now. I just read this morning that the National Association of Restaurants is anticipating 1 out of 4 restaurants will not make it through the next 6 to 12 months.
Wow.
So we historically have not done a lot of restaurants, but we are talking with people that may determine that it's better to sell off the assets now as opposed to reopening and trying to make it with 40 or 50% of the customers they had before and all the extra costs. So we've tried to provide a pivot, broaden our audience of potential clients. It's not going to be easy, but I feel like it's something that we have an obligation to help those business owners that are in stress right now, and there are plenty of them.
Yeah, so God, this is so interesting. So let's take this two ways. First, let's talk about that struggling business owner and what they're gonna face, even once we are reopen, reopen in quotes, right? So you mentioned the restaurant. I can certainly see that they've got 100 tables. They can only fill 25 or 50 of them, and they're thinking, well, hey, every time I serve a pizza, I'm still making 60% gross margin on that pizza. I'm making a profit every time I sell a meal. So I might as well sell 25 meals. If I can't sell 100, that's okay. But that's not really how it works, is it?
No, I mean, they still got their fixed costs of their rent. And, good restaurants to be successful need rent to be, in the single digits of their total cost and revenue structure. So that's going to be challenging. And so, yes, in your example, the pizza companies are doing great. They're doing a lot of delivery, but the more full service restaurant is really struggling. And how are they going to be able to absorb that large overhead, that fixed overhead, to handle on a go forward basis? And so what we're finding out and talking to people and CPAs and attorneys is the biggest concern of a lot of business owners today is the personal guarantees they have on their lease. They may have 7 or 8 more months or 7 or 8 more years at $8, $9, $10,000. And the question is, do they want to ride this out, or do they want to try to take their lumps and move on?
Yeah.
And save their cash, which they have for another experience. Sell now, recoup, come back in a couple of years with the lessons from this experience.
Excellent. Well, that's a great segue into the last question. Maybe we're already there, which is, what are you advising your clients or entrepreneurs in general to look at, to pay attention to be aware of during the crisis, and how to get out of it? So I'm anticipating you're going to say evaluate selling your company.
Well, no. I mean, I would tell you, you need to be brutally honest with yourself. By the way, I've done this for my own company.
Yeah.
I have literally looked at every single expense last year, whether it's marketing expenses, what can I do on my real estate? What can I do on, my advisors? Who am I paying for? How much am I spending on networking? How much am I spending on, ancillary services, software, etc.? I've literally looked at every line. What is essential and what is non-essential? Meaning, what activities, what expenses are really helping me get closer to creating revenue?
Yeah.
And so I'm prioritizing and focusing on those spending habits and expenses that really are going to help me get revenue. And I would challenge all business owners to do the same thing. This is not the time to be making an investment of X thousands of dollars for something you think is going to work in 3 years.
Yeah.
I think you got to get through the next 6-9 months with critical expenses and really focus on how you can get revenue and get back towards profitability and normalcy and more cash flow, so you can then make those investments. Because those that do this and are focused are the ones that are going to survive. And I am a big believer that those that are going to survive are going to pick up greater market share. They're going to be in a better position. A lot of competitors are going to go away. And I think you just got to really focus on your core and what is going to make you most valuable and successful in the coming months in this COVID era.
Yeah. Wow. Well put. That's that's powerful stuff to really be focused on the expense side, on the cash, on what's generating revenue now, what's going to generate revenue in the short term. Yeah, I appreciate those thoughts. Very good. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to call that a wrap, and we will see you on the other side.
Thanks, David. Enjoyed it very much.
All right.